Sagtest gestern, das ist der Moment.
Ja. this morning the question arose. Is it that within the dream is this message implanted about this be a dream?
There's a message implanted about a dream.
The dream to be a dream. So
I'm not sure I understand.
In the dream, is there a message is somehow?
No.
No.
There aren't. In the dream, there isn't an event or there isn't any sort of message in terms of there being events in the dream that point to something else in that sense. It is the discomfort and dissatisfaction of the dream, which in a sense is an invitation to see something else, if you like. It's, and also, of course, the other thing is that although the dream seems to be a story, and people think that story is their life, the real essence of what they seek is in the immediacy of what is, even in the dream. Even though the dreamer lives in a sense of what will be, also what is there in what is continuously singing a song of love to the dreamer. But that is in the immediacy of what is. It's in the very, very ordinary, and not in anything that's happening in the apparent dream. Like, he doesn't love me, or I feel frustrated, or my life doesn't seem to be working, or it does seem to be working, or all of those sort of stories are not really anything more than just that. It's in the actual, the lover is there in this, in what is, in the very ordinary. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed.
So I wonder what this scenery here is. Is this real?
It's nothing appearing to be this. It's real and unreal. Everything is real and unreal. In a sense, you could say that's its beauty. Its beauty is that it simply is already everything and already nothing. It simply is already emptiness and fullness. That can't be seen by the seeker. The seeker can only see, in a sense, that what it thinks is real. It doesn't see the utter beauty of what's also is unreal in that floor, in that flower, in that anything, in that body.
So seeing this, like this all the time, real, not real.
No, that's right.
That's right.
But the problem for the seeker is they're in a journey all the time, which seems also real, and that gives them, and that makes it, to them, the story of their life even more important and significant. So there's even more of an investment in making their life work, be that being very rich or becoming enlightened. That seems the only reality that they can follow.
So when this all dissipates or falls away, so this good news? Or?
Well, it's not good news for anyone, that's the problem.
Okay, I know.
It's really good news for no one.
It's really good news for
It's really good news for no one.
no one. Right.
Everything is lost.
I wonder, we have learned that in liberation anything is possible. Nevertheless, I wonder whether emotions or feelings that are strongly connected with self-consciousness, like guilt, regret, shame, are they still there, or do...
There's that sort of thing which is very much connected with self-consciousness, just dies on the spot. There may be an ongoing trauma that's connected with them that, as I said, the brain would roll on with mechanically, which would fall away. But the actual sense of shame or self-responsibility or guilt simply collapse because they've got nothing there that they can hold on to in that sense. Anger and fear and all those sort of primal energies still go on. Because in a sense, anger isn't really connected with the story. It can be, of course, and the individual would think you couldn't be angry without a story. Well, of course you can. It's anger. But anger is like a fire. Anger is like laughter. Laughter is, rah! You know, you're lost, and anger can be like a fire. It doesn't need a reason to be there or but shame and all those things are really actually adopted ideas. We grow up and learn to become ashamed as people. But when you say in liberation everything is possible, again we're back to this, what seems like a mystery in a way, a paradox, and that is in liberation there is no one, but there is everything. So in the apparent manifestation that arises, there is shame and guilt. But there is no longer any centre that would any longer feel that. There is just that. I am all that is. But take out the I. You know, in liberation, there is only all that is, including, you know, there could be a sense of shame or guilt.
If life is everything, or nothing is everything, or perfection is here and now, in this second.
In the sense that what we mean by perfect, not the jewel, the perfect jewel, but perfection in that complete way.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. That's
Okay.
what I'm trying to say, actually, probably. There can be no imperfection. Perfection is here and now, and therefore an apparent me is also perfection.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Seeking is absolute perfection.
Yes.
And separation.
So here and now is because there's this kind of, it feels like just a lot of striving, but perfection is here and now.
Yes.
You don't need to go anywhere.
No.
So it's okay. That's what.
Yes, it's perfect.
It's good. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But striving has that kind of motion.
Well, this is what's difficult about this. You think of striving as as a movement towards something, and in a sense, in the story, it seems like that. But actually, there is the movement is stillness, moving, and that's.
Yeah.
Like in liberation, thoughts arise. So, let's time it. Thoughts arise and fall back into nothing. That's, say, 3 seconds, but it isn't. It's timeless. It's the infinite.
It's simply an acceptance of what is now.
It's not an acceptance of what is now, no, it's just what is now.
Yes.
If it was an acceptance, you could say that's like a story, there's something that accepts what is now, and therefore is still separate.
Can questions still arise in nobody?
Not questions about this, but questions about which is the best way to get to Berlin.
Can you understand? I still wonder about these energetical phenomena in the body, because there's quite a lot in my body.
Yes,
And I wonder if it's just, you say it's a part of the dream?
There's a lot of it seems that there's a lot of energy for some people that seems to shift in this sort of situation. Essentially, you could say, and this is a story, that contracted energy is meeting boundlessness, which is never, it's just, and there can often be an energetic response to that, and that seems to be happening quite a lot. There's an energetic response. So for the individual, that would seem like a story. In reality, it's just what is apparently happening, and it has no meaning.
It has no meaning, so it's just to, I just wonder how to handle it, just to ignore it, or just
you can't handle it. You can't handle anything. You've never handled anything. The dream is that I am an individual who can handle my life, and that dream can collapse, and it can suddenly be realised that there never was anyone that handled anything. There was only life happening. So if there's energetic response, you could try and handle it, but it's just going to do what it wants to do regardless of you. It's just going to happen.
I find it distracting, or what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, it can be quite disturbing. It can be disturbing.
But very quickly, our story is coming up about this.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Of course, because directly anything happens, the individual turns it into a story about what am I going to do.
And long time I was dealing with about this Kundalini phenomena, and it just arose spontaneously, but then I tried to inform myself about this, and I think just going into stories then.
Yeah, essentially for me, Kundalini is like any of those other things that come up as a story, like in the tradition, there are things that are given a story or a meaning.
Okay. If they so rise spontaneously.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there is just energy, and I wouldn't want to give it a name.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's similar to karma. Karma is another idea that comes up in the mind about a story. It's based on a story in the circle.
I first heard about you through Conscious TV.
Oh, yeah.
the interviewer there said that after meetings with you, there are people who where the dream collapses, and this has happened apparently many times. Is there anyone in this room, apart from you, where the dream has collapsed?
What they mean?
I wouldn't ask this question.
Yes.
You said there was in Berlin, and that's
Yes.
Yes is the answer.
Apparently. Yes, is the answer.
We want to listen.
When and how.
The person actually says, apart from you and your wife.
Oh God, here we go. See now? No, there's no point in going on with this because it doesn't matter anyway. There are many. Apparently, there are many occasions where the dream collapsed. Yeah. It seems. Well, you see, the nature of this message, it has a dynamic that no message which has the energy of has the circular energy, has this dynamic. A message which is utterly uncompromisingly impersonal comes out of no thing. It just comes out of no thing. So it has a particular dynamic, which is, in a sense, completely destructive. Because compassion destroys illusion. So in one sense, a very powerful part of this message is that it destroys. And another powerful part of dynamic of this message is that it's absolute unconditional love. Unconditional love destroys. It's completely ruthless. And this makes it sound as though it has intention. Of course it doesn't, but the nature and the essence of unconditional love is that dynamic. Nowhere else can you find that dynamic. Directly you start moving away from that dynamic, that dynamic just vanishes. It's not a little less, some people say, oh, your message is a bit like that one there or this one here. Oh, well, what you're saying is like so-and-so. There is no meeting of any kind. And one has this dynamic and the other doesn't. And if the seeker in that, as I say, contracted, meets this dynamic, that they can be absolutely explosive, and is. People are destroyed all over the place. It is like that.
Is it explosive or is it implosive?
I would say it's explosive, but it doesn't matter.
I don't understand that.
Right. You don't understand that?
I don't understand that.
Well, you wouldn't want to. It can't be understood.
The question, as far as I heard it, was: is it explosive or?
Oh, I see.
implosive?
Oh, right. I don't think it. I don't know really. Explosive to me seems more. It's like it's an explosion of something that was held onto, and there's nothing left. For me, is more as near you as you can get. So it's like wow, this thing in here suddenly explodes into everything. So I like that.
Yeah, I understand. More or less.
when you say you're lazy, you said you're a lazy bugger.
So
You said yesterday or so you're a laziness.
yes, I'm this. Yes.
Yeah.
This
That's
character
true.
has always been lazy.
Oh, it's a character, a sign of character. It's not inbred in this because there's no more motivations going on or no interest. No, okay, it's not this.
The characteristics continue because they aren't connected with in the dream. They are just life happening. Life has characteristics.
Liberation is always an instant, though?
But,
Liberation is always an instant?
even not that. Yeah. It's not a moment. It's the end of a moment.
So what is immediacy?
Sorry.
What is immediacy?
Well, life is immediacy in terms of what is. What is the immediacy. What is the infinite, timeless beingness. What is sitting on a seat. Is what is. Feeling feelings is what is. They actually seem to be in time, but they are immediately this. Resisting this is what is. Accepting this is what is. There's no one accepting, but thinking, feeling, motor cars, everything is what is. Fear of this is what is. It's all there is.
So when contracted energy meets boundless,
Apparently,
what's happening? Is it
Oh,
something
no.
happening?
there isn't anything happening. There's no story, but in a way we're describing it in two different realities. Where in one there is no story, in the other one there's something that listens to a story. And it's possible that there can be a sudden realization that the story they're listening to isn't a story.
Because I have something like an idea of the contracted is merging into the boundless, or
Yes, yeah. In a sense, in the apparent story, the contracted energy dissipates or merges into the whole, but it doesn't. But actually, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Because it's not there.
The contracted is not there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole idea,
Okay.
that the contracted would merge is back into the idea of transformation, like a teaching,
Okay.
like a story of something happening. Nothing happens.
And nothing ever happened.
No, nothing for us. This is nothing, never happening.
It's really disappointing.
No. This is, for the seeker, this is entirely disappointing.
But even the disappointment is empty.
yes. Even that's nothing. We're not getting anywhere, are we? Which is the whole idea.
certainty happen?
I'm not certain. Does seem to happen, although I have seen that it does happen, yeah, it can do. But it's only about absolutely unimportant, well, what is important. Yeah, uncertainty can happen. I'm absolutely certain of that.
And certainty?
Right?
Certainty happens?
No, I mean, whatever happens, happens. That's the meaning.
This surrender, is this a concept?
Yes, it's another story, really.
Okay.
There isn't anything that surrenders to this, because that would imply that there's something that's apart from this. Just going back to the certainty thing, there isn't a certainty about this either, because that would be fixed and imprisoned. No. Everything that comes out of this is completely wild and untamed.
What about stillness?
What about it?
That fixed. And then you spoke about movement, and then you spoke about feeling of movement without going nowhere.
Yeah, so it's all one. It's all sort of nothing arising as apparent movement or apparent stillness. Neither have any significance.
It's just that.
People talk, I think teachers talk about stillness, but stillness is a state that comes and goes in the story. I like silence. People, I think, have silent retreats, which are very, very noisy.
It's like you chop off all the illusions.
Yeah.
It's like a dragon with all these heads.
It's just
chop,
so,
chop,
yeah, it
chop.
is. Yeah, it is. I don't, but it does.
So can all the teachings go away? I'm just thinking about the nitty. I went through all the landscapes, the landscape of all these teachings,
Yeah.
so they can all go.
Well, they don't have to, because they are perfect.
They are perfect.
Confusion is perfect. And it simply is the arising out of nothing. So there's nothing wrong with anything. Wholeness likes to be confused.
Tony, if there is confusion, something knows. Absolute unconfused.
Oh, well, knowing and confusion are the same thing. It's like belief and doubt, but they're only appearances.
No, I mean, what knows I'm confused? With certainty.
Only another seeker.
Thank you.
Could I have the address of that cell in Munich?
Oh, you want to join the union? The revolutionaries.
So like, great.